Our own Skip Bayless here on Twitter. Let me share this. Cantor retweeted Skip's tweet of not sure the Thunder can win a single game against the Warriors with his own message of sorry, my man. Skip, your reaction?
Well, at least Enos, I got to give him this. He responded, I would say politely.
He did.
It seemed polite.
Classy.
It wasn't venomously,
No.
right? Okay, so I give you that, Enos, but Enos, you're now on notice. I am watching you. You better make those clutch shots. I'll be waiting. I'll be sitting right here every morning, ready to
Tweet.
So, but thank you. But here's the point.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain this one more time. Anyone who follows me, especially during Cowboys or Spurs games, I get crazy emotional. I admit it all the time. I go out of my mind. I'm not rational while I'm tweeting. And if you go look at my timeline, you will attest to that. You'll say, you're out of your mind.
Stream of consciousness.
Yes, and I'll say, you're right. I'm out of my mind. Especially my Spurs, who were up 2-1, obviously, after a big win at Oklahoma City in Game 3. I thought it was a done deal. I thought again and again in fourth quarters of those games, it was going to be a done deal. And when they went colder than Pop's heart during the sideline interviews in Game 6, in the second quarter, I lost it. And by the fourth quarter, I was so devastated, I tweeted that sometime during the fourth quarter because I was angry, I was hurt, and so I had to go all the way to, I'm not sure the Thunder can win a single game against Golden State. I amended that when I regained some of my senses the next day or next couple days, and I picked Golden State in 5. So I did give the Thunder one game when Steph and Clay were cold. Last night was that one game, so I'm going to stick with my Golden State in 5, but obviously it's looking a little more unlikely as we sit here right now. But so congratulations.
Clay didn't start out cold, though.
No?
He was on fire to start the first half. Yes. He had 19 points, Skip.
Yeah. Clay Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think what Inez is really saying, though, is sorry, not sorry. That's what he's really saying.
Okay, that's fine.
But
he deserves to
He's gloating,
to gloat.
Yes.
Except
and you're just letting out your frustration on Twitter.
Can I remind the Thunder of what my Spurs did to the Thunder in Game 1 of that series? They won 124-92, if memory serves, by 32 points. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then what happened? And what happened the next day? You were just picking at me, trying to say it's over, it's over.
No.
Yeah, and I said I said I'm not falling into this trap, and so I'm going to remind Enos he better not fall into the we got them trap.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Shannon, let's get into this. How much trouble are the Warriors in now?
In a little bit of trouble, Skip. As we mentioned earlier in the top, we don't expect Kevin Durant to shoot 10 of 30.
No.
We don't expect Westbrook to go 7 of 21. Stephen Curry said something that, yeah, he's had time off, but the knee hadn't gotten any better. It hadn't gotten any worse. Skip, he played almost 40 minutes. When was the last time Steph Curry played 40 minutes on a ball game? And they say role players. I didn't play in the NBA, but everybody I've talked to say role players play better at home. Now,
that is correct.
OKC role players outplay Golden State on the road.
Yep.
They're playing with a ton of confidence, Skip. Then, in the words of Skip Bayless, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest they could possibly be in, 8.5.
You're 8.5 on the trouble scale.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. 8.5.
That's interesting to put it in that context. So on the 1 to 10 trouble scale right now, I'm going to give Golden State a 3 on trouble.
Hey,
and I'll tell you why.
Stop. Skip.
You know why? Because they have made me, the Warriors, they have made me eat so many words on this show. I cannot tell you.
The Spurs.
I cannot, not with the Spurs, with everything. With anybody, with Cleveland, with any big game they play against anybody on a big stage, you just finally give it up and you say, you got me. You're just too good. Steph Curry should have won the most improved player this year, as well as his second straight MVP. He is so much better, at least until last night's fourth quarter, than he was in the finals last year when Andre Iguodala was the MVP of the finals. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so last year, when I least expected it, Golden State was down 2-1 to LeBron's team.
Yes.
With Game 4 to come in LeBron's house. Now, clearly, he did not have his man Kyrie and his man Kevin Love. We know that.
Yes.
But they had Golden State on the run at that point.
Yes.
and they could not close the deal. Because if they win Game 4, I'm pretty sure we're having a different conversation right now. I could be wrong. Instead, Golden State showed me something. They showed me their depth of character. They won Game 4, and they won Game 5, and they won Game 6, and it was over. So I'm not going to immediately overreact and write off the Golden State Warriors. I can also make the case this was the best thing that could have happened to the Golden State Warriors because they know when they went home last night, when Steph put his head back on the pillow, he had to remind himself, we were up 13.5. We had them. He made another one of his impossible threes in which he not only made the three, but had the presence of mind to try to kick out a little bit and try to get the 4-point play with the foul at the end of the half. It's just, it's so good because he's able to release and say, I know that's good, so I'm going to try to get the foul here, right? Okay, and he made one lucky shot off the bank, but he made a couple others where you say, that's like Globetrotter stuff, right? Okay, so they know what they can do, what they have done to this team. They know what they did to him for a half. And they know full well they got a little cocky in the third quarter. And you cannot let Westbrook up. You have to keep the heat on Westbrook because if you let him unleash, he'll walk all over you. And that's what happened. He was getting to the free throw line and to the basket. And when he makes a couple threes, you're really in trouble because he's a poor three-point shooter. Okay? So they know this. So if they come back and put their foot back down on the pedal to metal and they win Game 2 fairly convincingly, you can't tell me they can't go to Oklahoma City and win at least one game, if not both games.
No, they definitely could. But I think when Steph Curry laid down, as you so eloquently stated, interlocked his fingers behind his head and probably looked up at the ceiling, he probably said, we had a 13-point lead. I was raining down threes from all over the court. I stepped into one from about 32 feet away. And they came back and beat us when we hadn't lost a game with a 10-point lead at the half in 37 games. We're in a heap of trouble because Kevin Durant's not going to shoot that bad. You're talking about Russell Westbrook going off. Oh, you know what Kevin Durant did to your team in games 5 and 6, the Spurs. So he has one of those games, Skip. Think about it. He's averaging 36. He didn't even get to his average, and he shot, 33% last night. They're in trouble, Skip. 8.5. This team, they believe, and Russell Westbrook said it all along. Kevin Durant said it. They believe they can beat this team, Skip. A lot of teams say it, but they don't have the firepower that the OKC Thunder have to go out there and back it up. They got 2 of the top 5, 6 players in all of basketball on one team, and both of these guys can go get you 40 on a given night. Skip. Okay, see, you done talk me into it. It's a 9.
A 9?
It's a 9.
You think it's a 9?
It's a 9.
You got to change your pick. If you go to a 9, you have to change your pick. If they don't go together. One has to equal the other. If you went to a 9 on the trouble scale, you have to go to 7 games, Golden State and 7. How can they be?
Even if that's the case, I still believe Golden State's going to win. Now, if I went to a 10, I would have to flip my pick altogether and go with AKC.
That's the new rule.
Yeah.
You have to go to a 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not there yet.
DEFCON 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you one point here. There is a danger that, the old expression about don't wake the sleeping giant. Okay, I'm not going to call Oklahoma City a sleeping giant, but I will call them an occasional stumbling giant because they can't get out of their own way sometimes because Russell and Kevin sometimes get in each other's way and they don't blend, they don't mesh, they don't vibe correctly, especially under fire, fourth quarter fire, which is why they have lost so many leads. So I will give you this. There is a danger that you have awakened the stumbling giant because you let it gain some confidence of, wow, we closed a deal. We closed a deal at Oracle. Now, again, they got a little help or a whole lot of help from the referee because they were in danger of not closing the deal if that glaringly obvious call gets made correctly and it's Golden State's ball. Who knows what, I don't know what happened, but 17 seconds is a lot of seconds.
It is a lot of time.
With Steph Curry
and Clay
on a mission, like, okay, I got to right the wrong of what I've done so far. And at the end of the game, he was useless because it was irrelevant and the game was over.
But Skip, you do realize that Westbrook had 7 steals?
It was awesome what he did.
7 steals.
Yep. He was very disruptive.
He shot 30% from the floor.
Yep.
Now, the likelihood of him shooting that bad again and the likelihood of Kevin Durant shooting 33% in the same game is what? On a scale of 1 to 10, since you like to do scales.
Okay, I will give you that. It's not very likely. But you know what's far less likely?
What?
That Steph Curry will go 1 for 6 in another fourth quarter. Want to bet on that?
Okay.
I would bet you that these two, especially Westbrook, what did he shoot during the regular season? He was like 17% from the three-point line against Golden State. He was pretty terrible. The 1 for 8 first half was typical of him against Golden State. The 19-point explosion in 6 minutes of the third quarter, not typical of Russell versus Golden State. I think they can nullify him. Durant is nuclear to me. No one can stop Kevin Durant except Kevin. He has to either be off or you're in trouble.
You know what I'm going to bet? I'm going to bet when Kevin Durant dropped 40 on him tomorrow night, I'm going to bet the look on your face when they go down 0-2 going back to OKC.
Is that your prediction?
I'll send it in. I'll talk to you.
You'll send it in.
Yeah,
we'll send it in right now, Jerome.
I'm going to bet the
send
look
it in on
live
TV.
Steamed chicken
Come
and
on.
broccoli?
I'm going to bet the look on his face when he got to look in that camera.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to do
What's the skip look? I need to see the skip look.
When you got to look in the camera, you know how you get Molly?
Oh, when he starts pounding his fist? I know, sometimes I worry about his hand.
That Shannon Sharp got me again.
It's toughening.
Yeah, I know, because you pound this thing.
Years.
Oh, my
The table
gosh.
has a hard time.
So, yeah.
Okay, the more you talk, the more emboldened you get.
just
And you
pick
get
the
right to
Thunder.
the ledge.
Why don't
You
you
get
just
right
pick
to the
the
edge,
Thunder?
and you won't do it.
The panic meter's at a
Pull
9.
that trigger.
The look on his face.
Thunder and 7 is what you're saying.
The look on his face when OKC beat the
I think
Spurs.
you are talking Thunder
Yeah,
and 7.
me too.
Okay, wait a second. If you're going to 0-2 down, going to Oklahoma City, pick the Thunder right now. I
Panic
give you
meter's
the
at
right.
9.
I give you the right to switch your pick.
I'm not gonna
right
do like,
here, right now.
I'm not going to
do it.
Nope.
Do it.
No.
Have the courage of your conviction. This
Molly,
is made for you. You have
next
backed
segment,
yourself
Molly.
into a corner that you cannot.
Okay, the panic meter for the Warriors, you have a 9, you have a 3.
Yeah.
And you have Golden State in 6, and you have...
No, I have
5. Sorry, geez, sorry, America. And Golden State in 6.
Yep.
How could I
He's
forget
got
after that
Thunder
tweet?
and 7, and he doesn't have the
Yes,
guts to say it.
That's what you do, Thunder and 7.
Spill it. Say it.
We'll send in that prediction later, Skip,
I'm
okay?
going to give you
Over
the
facts.
right. By the end of the show, if you are so emboldened, you should go ahead and make that pick.
Okay.
Thunder and 7.
All right.
By the end of the show. Okay.
You can marinate on that, and then we'll let you redeem yourself, okay, Shannon?
All right.
All right, up next, we are talking your sport, a little NFL. Almost every year, a team that comes back the next year and wins the division, a team that finished, terribly, obviously, comes back redeeming themselves. Are the Cowboys that team to do it this year? Darren Woodson, oh boy.